Ciera, and we're from the Gymnastics too. Welcome to TC Tuesday. For the second collab style video, it's going to be 10 things that gymnasts are doing wrong, / also kind of a life hacks video. So we're going to be going through pretty much saying, you might be doing these things wrong. Some of them it doesn't matter, but it's kind of nice to know that that's not exactly how you're supposed to do some things. Some things are just helpful alternatives. So some of them you could be doing wrong, some of them are like there's a better way to do it. Take this video with a grain of salt. If you want to keep doing what you're doing, that's fine. We're not telling you how to live your life. Yeah. Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel by pressing the red button down below. And if you want to become a part of our notification squad, then click the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first mistake that you're doing is throwing your hair ties into your gym bag because it's going to be close to impossible to find them. And if you find one, good luck finding another one. So how you're going to fix this problem is get some hair ties, get a carabiner, and then you're going to put the hair ties on the carabiner, and then you can attach it to your gym bag on the outside, or you can also just put it in the inside and they'll all be together. And then it's going to be way easier and you're going to have much easier access to your hair ties. Sometimes gymnasts, especially if they're recreational or just starting, will show up to practice wearing a t-shirt and shorts. And just like you wouldn't show up to soccer practice without cleats, you should really avoid coming to gymnastics without a leotard. I know a lot of you guys think that leotards are going to be expensive, so that's why you don't wear them, but there's a lot of great options at Walmart, Target, other places that are fairly cheap. And then we also have a video that has us testing cheap leotards, so that'll be in the information button if you want to check that out. Leotards are meant to be worn for gymnastics because it is the safest clothing option. If you show up wearing a t-shirt, they might get caught on stuff, or it makes it hard for your coach to spot, so that's why you should get a leotard. So this next one is pretty random. You do not have to change this if you do it wrong, because me and Ciera also did this wrong. So we both wore our grips, I guess you could say wrong, maybe there's no right way, but most people are actually going to wear their grips past their knuckles, and then me and Ciera, and actually a few people at our gym, they also just like wore it before their first knuckle. So this is how you're supposed to wear it. You can see it's past their first knuckle, and yeah, me and Ciera didn't do that. Let us know if you guys wear them like we do or how you're supposed to. Usually when you're learning full turns or double turns or any type of turn, you're taught to keep your arms up by your ears because that is the most common way to do it. But believe it or not, you do not actually have to keep your arms up by your ears. You can bring them down by your side if you want. Sometimes this actually helps you control your turns if you struggle with controlling them. And the judges cannot deduct points for your arm placement. So try it out if you struggle with turns. Obviously in college, me and Ciera do not have access to a beam, so this park bench will just have to do. Basically, what you might be doing wrong is keeping your head down when you're standing up from something like a handstand or a back walkover, pretty much any skill. Here you can see Ciera's head is looking down at the beam, which you think would help because if you're looking at the beam, it'd help you balance. When in reality, doing this might actually cause you to fall off the beam more or have more balance checks. This is because your sense of balance is actually coming from your inner ears, so when your head is looking down at the beam like that, it's going to throw your balance off. So when you're doing a handstand, you want to make sure that you pull your chest up and pull your head up right away, so that way your ears are not throwing you off balance. This does not mean that you cannot look at the end of the beam, because that is actually a really good idea and that's going to help you balance. Just make sure when you're standing up you don't keep your head down and that you pull it up. This next one is actually one that my doctor told me, so if you're injury prone or if you have an injury right now, listen up. A lot of times you might feel like you should take ibuprofen or Advil or some other pain med before practice, just so that way you don't have to deal with the pain throughout practice. And this is actually not a good idea, because if you do that and you keep practicing, you're not actually going to know when you're hurt because you took pain medication. So what you should do is if you start having pain during practice, it might just be a good idea to sit out for a little bit, rest, put some ice on it, and then when you get home to deal with the pain, that's when you can take the ibuprofen, Advil, or whatever pain med that you want to take. This next one is also more common in gymnasts that are just starting out. When you think of a round-off, you're trying to get as much speed as possible, so gymnasts tend to think that they need to rush their round-offs, reach straight for the ground, and then that's how they're going to get the most power. When in reality, you actually want to
draw at the beginning, take your time, you want to reach your arms all the way up by your ears, and that's how you're going to get the most power. So take your time, don't rush your round-offs, reach up super tall, and get a good hurdle. I'm honestly really surprised at how long it took me to figure out how to do this. I used to put my hair ties in one at a time, probably at least 3 hair ties because my hair is so thick and it always falls out. So I always had to put in multiple hair ties. If you only have to wear one, you're lucky. But it takes way longer than it has to, and you're doing each one individually. So instead of doing that, put all your hair ties on your wrist and then just put them on all at once. It actually stays in better in my opinion, so it takes way less time and it's also going to stay in better. So try it out if you don't do this already. This next one I actually got from an article that I read, and it was saying how you should not only be stretching before practice or before you're getting ready to exercise, and you should be doing something else like warming up, doing running or jumping jacks or something to get your heart rate up. In the article, the reasoning for this was because if injuries usually occur with the normal range of motion, why would an increased range of motion prevent injuries, which is what flexibility and stretching is for. So if you want to get more flexible, then definitely stretch before practice. It also feels good, so that's a bonus. So to prevent injury, just make sure you include different types of warm-ups before you practice. So some of you guys might remember that about 2 months ago we did a video called 10 Weird Things That Gymnasts Do, and one of those things was going into stores with your leotard on because you weren't prepared and you had to run errands, your parents made you, and now you're walking around with a leotard on. So in order to prevent this from happening, you should always bring a t-shirt with you to practice, or keep a backup one in your bag just in case you have to run any unexpected errands, or if your friends decide they want to go get ice cream after practice. That way you don't have to go into Dairy Queen with your leotard on. So would highly recommend doing this. You will thank yourself later.
Alright guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Let's try and get this video to 15,000 likes. We can do it. TC2 crew member. What? TC2 crew is strong. Also make sure you comment down below if you guys do any of this, because I know I used to do the Advil thing, Advil ibuprofen. So comment down below if you guys do anything, and make sure you guys come back next Tuesday to see us again. And we'll see you then. Bye!